And not what we want to hear right now, but it looks like the National Weather Service may be turning that severe thunderstorm warning into a tornado warning, and that actually has just happened in real time here for Little Rock. Again, all of these supercells rotating. Again, this is a new tornado warning for the second supercell moving through this same area.
So irony of all ironies, we were looking at that video thinking, well, is this the second supercell? But the second supercell might start looking like that video.
Exactly like that.
It might be doing that right now. So it has picked back up, and my goodness, it's going over the same general area, maybe a smidge farther south than the previous supercell did. But it's between downtown Little Rock and the Weather Service office and the airport. Look at that hook echo, very well defined. And it's, again, we got to call out Sherwood because that is where the previous supercell went and now where this one is going.
I was about to say Sherwood was another place that we were just talking about with the first supercell that came in, and this is taking, unfortunately, a very, very similar path through areas. So Jacksonville, folks that have just seen this first supercell come in, you need to be on high alert because we have yet a second one that is now tornado warned coming into your area.
Yeah, so we should time this out relative to Jacksonville because it's amazing. It wasn't all that long ago, like, far less than an hour ago, that the lead supercell went through Jacksonville, and now you got to deal with the possibility that this goes over your community in the next 10 minutes or less.
And I mean, this is a very similar path, a little farther south, Jacksonville, and then just moving down across areas of Kerr, and then continuing off to the east, a little more east than northeast, but still similar spots that have ongoing search and rescue. Folks are trying to get out, see what happened, and now this is just on the heels, 30 minutes later?
Yeah, so imagine your town, and like Jacksonville, just had a tornado go through, and now you're getting a new tornado warning, and you have to take shelter again with, especially in the immediately damaged areas, fewer options, and now you're going to go some other place. But it's, again, life safety is number one today. We can get back to the damage assessment and recovery from the first one after we make sure we're safe in the next few minutes from this one.
Yeah, property can be replaced, lives cannot. So again, you need to seek shelter immediately, and that may be a different shelter than what you were looking at an hour ago.
Now, this one, Colleen, we're talking about how this is farther to the south. Now, this could be dangerously close to Interstate 40, people coming on and off I-40 as there's a lot of other roads that either go over or under I-40 or there's an exit. So there's a lot of possibilities of people being out on the roads here. If you're on I-40 or anywhere near it or north of it, get off the roads right now. We've seen what happens when tornadoes cross an interstate. We saw that happen in Little Rock with the first supercell. People having to stop.
They were stopped in both directions, and then we were getting reports of 18-wheelers that have been flipped over on some of these major highways, cars that are upside down. So again, a very powerful storm rolling through, and now we have yet another one that we're watching in similar areas here.
The hook echo looks like it's right where I-40 and Highway 167 meet, and there's a lot of roads and structures and people in this area. So this is a very, very dangerous situation with this tornado warning.
And as we're going down to street level here, 167 here and 440.
That's Wharton Road, it looks like.
Yeah, that was where we were getting reports of cars that had just been flipped over
from the previous
supercell. So now we're seeing yet another one in this same spot moving through. So again, extremely dangerous situation that's unfolding in just an hour. Two supercells going through a similar area.
And so this is the kind of day we're dealing with. If you go through one warning, you can't assume that now you can call it off. You got to keep a way to get new warnings and updates on warnings because you have to go through it again. I know it's tiring and traumatic, but life safety is number one. And look at the velocity signature here. Now, again, this is farther south, so for the sake of the folks in Jacksonville who've already gotten damage, I hope they don't have to deal with this, but there's that possibility. Anywhere from Jacksonville down to and even south of Interstate 40 as this goes east at, ironically, highway speeds near or along Interstate 40. So in Kerr, you could be in your community within the next 5 minutes, Colleen.
Yeah, and the Weather Service is saying this next storm very close, of course, to their office, the rotation close to their office right around Sherwood. Again, so close to the radar, it's a little tough to see. You got to look farther up to see some of that rotation. But again, right by the same spot. It just was dangerous situation now, moving up just to the south of Jacksonville. Furlough, this is going to be in your area.
Less than 10
323?
minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
So that's the really nasty thing about how fast these supercells are moving. And, and in this case, that hook echo and where the tornado might be right there in that notch, it's comparatively small. And, that forward flank downdraft with a really strong wind shear is way up to the northeast. So these areas that are under the warning, the weather at the particular moment right now might not be that bad, but it will so quickly change even without there being precipitation before the tornado arrives.
Yeah, you think about some of these communities here just ahead of it. As you mentioned, you may see some of this dark skies in the distance, but it's not going to be full-on severe thunderstorm in your area right now, but this is moving in your direction so incredibly quickly. And this is a live look from Jacksonville. So again, we've been watching Jacksonville. You got hit with that first supercell straight through Jacksonville. And now this next tornado warning is just to your south. But man, look at the rain coming down right now.
So what looks like what Jacksonville is experiencing is the forward flank downdraft, the heavy precipitation that is going downstream from where the updraft and the core of the rotation is because of the shear in the atmosphere. But what can happen, though, is you can get, outflow from that precipitation in the forward flank downdraft, and that kind of acts like a little bit of a front, and the inflow coming from the south can run into that and cause some additional rotation that gets turned into the vertical. So this is still bad news for a place like Jacksonville, because if it moves farther to the left, you could get some of the damaging wind. And it also is bad news for places south of Jacksonville where it looks like the core of the rotation is headed.
Yeah, and there's a lot of folks that are on the roads right now, still in Jacksonville. And this is after one supercell, a large tornado has gone through. So again, please, this is not a time to be on the roads. As we've been mentioning with this heavy rain coming through, really hard to tell maybe what part of the storm that you're in, especially if you're just in a car. Maybe your cell phone's alerted you, but you're not sure where you are in respect to where the rotation is. A very dangerous situation. I just see people flying by there in Jacksonville, and this is the second round.
I mean, we're diagnosing the radar here, but if you are in the tornado warning area, there is one and only one thing for you to do, and that's to get to your lowest level, most interior room that you can't get to unless you get off the roads, because in such fast-moving supercells, you can't really be situationally aware about well, which direction is this going? Is the tornado coming from there? Is it coming from there? You might not even be able to see it, and then it's on you. So trust the warning and get off the roads and take shelter as soon as you get word of a warning. And that includes Jacksonville and Kerr, where it could be on you within the next less than 5 minutes. Furlough could be there within the next 8 minutes or so. So seconds can count now.
And we're getting so many reports of damage, unfortunately, in these areas. So you think about if you're on the roadways, we have trees that are down, cars that have been flipped over, 18-wheelers that have been flipped over. There are roads that are blocked. You're not going to be able to use maybe your same thoroughfares to get to where you want to go.
Right.
And then on top of that, you got this guy coming in.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, the damage left behind